then barked and hissed at him. To his reply was, "Mom, I didn't know what else to say, so I just barked back." Um, to my knowledge, this
Well, I would say that that's the culturally appropriate way to respond to a
right
furry, to trying to speak their language.
language. Right. No, he was informed it's a level 2 harassment, and he's suspended for 5 days.
So
Um,
would it have been level one harassment if he had meowed instead of barked? Is that why?
I still would love to know the answer to that.
All right, Chelsea, this is a story that I don't think people are going to believe. So I think that it's important for you to tell us your perspective on what exactly happened. But I saw this morning a Facebook post on the Farmington community page that said essentially that a student at a public school had been suspended for barking at another student at the school who identifies as a furry and is being accommodated by the school as a furry. And for the uninformed or uninitiated, a furry is somebody who I guess it's a species of the transgender ideology, except for you identify as like a cat or a possum or a raccoon or something. Typically, it's an adult fetish sexual thing where there are furry conventions and they dress up like, college mascots and have orgies or something. But apparently now this is happening in our public schools. So I guess, Chelsea, take it. Tell me, how much of that do I have right, and what was how did you learn about this situation with your child?
Well, I've been told before that they have a furry in the school. I never really paid any attention to it because I honestly didn't know what it was. And then Tuesday came around and I did some research and did not like what I found. Definitely everything that I can find points to a sexual preference or sexual fetish. I don't think that's something that we should be delving into in middle school. But anyway, this interaction occurred and supposedly there's video of it. The school did say that part of it was caught on video, but not all of it. So when Anderson was brought into the office by Miss DeShane, her and the counselor, I still need to get that name, they let him know that he was suspended for 5 days for barking at a furry. To my knowledge, no one had done much of an investigation because as soon as I put word out that this was happening, because I was dumbfounded, I didn't know this was a thing. They told him it was level 2 harassment. I had other parents come to me saying, hold on, my son was there or my daughter was there. And Anderson didn't just start barking at her. What happened was a few kids walked by her and they all started saying like, I can't believe they let furries in school. We don't even get to wear Halloween costumes, and just questioning the whole furry um, movement, if you will. And she started barking and hissing, and my son was trying to say, no one's talking about you. We're talking about furries in general. No one is talking about you directly. He said it 3 times. He was trying to get his point across that's no one's talking about you. It's okay. But it's mind-boggling. She then called him, excuse my language, a faggot, and then barked and hissed at him. To his reply was, "Mom, I didn't know what else to say, so I just barked back." To my knowledge, this
Well, I would say that that's the culturally appropriate way to respond to a
right
furry, to trying to speak their language.
language. Right. No, he was informed it's a level 2 harassment, and he's suspended for 5 days.
So
Um,
would it have been level one harassment if he had meowed instead of barked? Is that why?
I still would love to know the answer to that.
So how did you learn that he was suspended? Did he, call you and say he
Oh
needs to
yeah,
be picked up?
so his father was the one to go pick him up. Nobody called mom, but his father went and picked him up, and then he called me while I was at work, and this just blew my brain all day at work. I was just completely dumbfounded. I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing, let alone in the school, let alone being a disruption at this point. If nothing else, it's a disruption. Plus, I don't need my middle school. He doesn't know his own sexual orientation yet. We don't need to be diving into this. Right? Like we're not there yet.
And so, what grade is the meower?
I'm not sure. Either
Okay, but middle school.
middle school, so.
Yeah. Okay. And to your knowledge, what level of accommodation is the other student being given? Like are I guess what how are they expressing their furry identity?
They're allowed to bark and hiss and lick other people if, I guess, if wanted, because I haven't heard it, the other way. But um, so a friend of mine, her son said one time furries are stupid, and he got a 3-day suspension. I
So
just,
furries, I guess, in the Farmington, Maine public school system are a protected class, but this I guess feline impersonator used a homophobic slur towards
uh
your son, and has there been any punishment for her?
no.
What's your communication been like with the school system, other than learning about the suspension through your son?
I called them several times today. I called the principal. I called the superintendent. I left messages with everyone. You're the one that answered. No one answered from the school. So I will be going there tomorrow to get a printout of the suspension papers because they mailed them. So I'd like to
And
see
so,
it.
is this an in school suspension, or is this now you guys are going to have to find accommodations for your child in the middle of the work week because he barked?
So the first day, they waited for him to come in on the bus and then told him. And then my kid's dad had to leave work and go pick him up and then stay out of work that day because he didn't have anywhere for him to go. And he was in trouble. I mean, let's not take away from the fact that my son still should have kept his mouth shut, let me know that he got called a name, and kept moving. He's not getting away scot-free here. He's not an
Yeah.
angel. He's not, no. But he also knows what it's like to be bullied and stands up to people that are being bullied and is actively trying to tell her no one is speaking of you specifically. But are they not even allowed to talk about them in general now?
Well, I guess when I was in middle school, if someone was acting like an animal, that would be a sign that they were a victim of abuse.
Yes.
And I just that might be an extreme point of view, but if you're acting like an animal at middle school, probably your parents should be investigated for child abuse by child welfare services, because that's a classic sign of someone who's been emotionally or physically abused.
That's all I can
Just my
say.
layperson opinion.
Absolutely. Same here. Same here. I am not a professional in any direction, but I, oof.
So do the lunch ladies like open up cans of tuna fish for at lunchtime? And is there a litter box available for this individual? Like, what other, now that we've created a safe space where no one can use animal sounds around this particular student, what other accommodations is the school making available to them?
I don't want to comment on the litter box thing specifically because, as far as I know, it's just a rumor. But
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I just found out that we even allow these entities in our school, and they're so very well protected. I had so many people be like, "You're not going to get anywhere on this." Farmington is like holding strong on, supporting the furry community. I guess I don't know.
Furry kind.
Yes.
I
I
didn't
don't
even know.
say
I
the
didn't
wrong
even
thing.
know. I didn't even know if the furries had a flag. We see there's a umpteen million flags up in schools. I don't know. I haven't seen a furry flag or a furry pride shirt. I don't even think they have a month. Come to think of it, there may be some more more extreme concerns that the furry community should have, other than the straight bark at Farmington Middle School. So I guess what do you guys do now? I mean, is there an
Well,
appeal process?
I just learned today that he's not allowed to go on the year-end field trip because he's gotten in trouble too many times. This was like his last strike. Uh,
So are his other strikes barking related, or is this his first
no, this
barking strike?
barking strike.
Okay,
Yeah.
because speaking as a child who got I got in trouble a lot in middle school too, so I can identify with missing out on the year end trip. But this is just flabbergasting, the problems that Maine's public school systems have, test scores in the gutter, and this is the kind of thing, which I'm sure is going to be a massive distraction for everybody in the entire school. This is what they're going to be talking about for the next couple of weeks.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Have you asked your son to consider also identifying as a furry in order to get similar levels of protection?
Oh, he's for it. He would love it. I won't let him. Come on.
Well, I have to say, I think that this case is going to draw a significant amount of attention because I know, there have been rumors about litter boxes at schools or litter boxes at Bath Iron Works to accommodate furries, but this is the first one where I think it's safe to say that there's concrete proof of furry accommodation happening. So, well, I hope that you'll get the letter of suspension tomorrow, and I hope
Yes.
that the charges, the charges,
Charges.
the allegations of unlawful illicit barking made against
Yes.
your child. I hope
Yes.
that first I hope you send a picture of them to me, but then I also hope you get them framed and hung on the wall. But I'll be very much interested to see what the school has to say and if they follow through with this suspension because this seems even for Maine, this seems very extreme.
Oh, he's serving it. The first day was out of school. The next day was in school, and then the next day was tomorrow is supposed to be out of school, I believe, and then Monday out of school as well.
Okay, so there is no appeal process then.
Oh no. Oh no. No. No questions, no nothing. Just yeah. Walked in off the
Yeah.
bus and sat down in the principal's office for them to tell him you're going home. No point in even coming in today, buddy.
Yeah, well, I'm gobsmacked, and I'm interested to know the rest of the story and how this ends, and if the principal and the guidance counselor can explain something that is there something here that maybe we're not seeing, some other thing that your son hasn't been honest with you about that
I,
could have been cause for this
I
suspension?
honestly barely talked to my son. I was getting this from other kids that went to their parents that called me last night and they were like, no, listen, Miss Chelsea, no, wait, that's not the whole story. Yeah,
Oh,
no, my son was just like, yeah, I barked at her. She wasn't hearing my words. Like, I thought maybe barking she'd understand. I don't know.
oh well, yeah. I'm sorry that you're having to deal with this. I'm sure this isn't how you'd be like to spending your time as the school year winds down. But I appreciate you talking with us a little bit about it, Chelsea, and I'll be interested to follow up with you in
Yeah,
the next couple of days and see how this situation resolves. And I'll be careful not to bark at the wrong person, lest I suffer the wrath of public school officials around here. So thank you
right.
very much for talking with us.
Thank you for having me.